The RV cost me $182,000. I paid cash. 38 years teaching high school history in Columbus, Ohio, and this was what I had saved for. Sarah and I had planned this trip for decades. We were going to drive across America together, from the Great Lakes to the Pacific, from the Grand Canyon to the Redwoods. We had maps marked up, campgrounds bookmarked, a whole route planned out. Then Sarah got sick. Stage 4, pancreatic cancer, 6 months from diagnosis to the funeral. I held her hand the last night and promised her I'd still take the trip, that I'd see all those places we dreamed about, that I wouldn't let grief keep me locked in our empty house. So 2 months after the funeral, I bought the RV. A 2024 Thor Palazzo, 37 feet long, diesel pusher, solar panels on the roof, satellite internet, full kitchen, king bed in the back. The salesman said it was their premium model. I didn't care about premium. I cared that it had big windows. Sarah always wanted to wake up to different views. Mountains one morning, ocean the next, desert the day after that. Now I'd see those views for both of us. I parked it in my driveway and spent 3 weeks getting it ready. I installed extra storage, upgraded the sound system, added a bike rack. I stocked the cabinets with non-perishables, loaded maps and hiking guides, planned my first month of travel. I was leaving in 2 weeks. First stop was Mackinac Island, then west through the Badlands, down to Colorado, over to Utah. 6 months on the road, maybe longer. My daughter Emily came by that Thursday afternoon. She brought Derek, her husband. They'd been married 4 years. Derek was 33, worked in digital marketing, which, as far as I could tell, meant he was always on his phone but never seemed to have much money. They lived in a rental apartment 20 minutes away. "Dad, this is amazing," Emily said, climbing into the RV. She ran her hand over the leather seats, peered into the bathroom. "This is like a luxury hotel on wheels." "Your mom would have loved it," I said. I showed them the Murphy bed in the living area, how the table converted to extra sleeping space. "We could have brought you and little Sophie along for a week or two." Emily smiled, but it didn't reach her eyes. "Sophie would love that. She's been asking about Grandma a lot lately." Derek had been quiet, walking around the RV, opening cabinets, checking the bathroom, examining the solar panel controls. He whistled low. "This must have cost a fortune." "A fair amount," I said. I didn't like how he was appraising everything, like he was calculating value. "When do you leave?" Derek asked. 2 weeks from Monday. I'm driving up to Michigan first, then west. "For how long?" 6 months, maybe more. However long it takes. Derek nodded slowly. He glanced at Emily, some look passing between them. I couldn't read. "And then what? You just park it in the driveway the rest of the year?" "I haven't thought that far ahead," I said. "Maybe I'll take shorter trips, or maybe I'll sell the house and live in it full-time." "Live in it?" Derek laughed. "Dad, you're 62, not 75. You're not going to live in an RV." I didn't like being called Dad by Derek. He'd started that about a year ago, this presumptuous familiarity. I let it slide because Emily loved him and I didn't want to cause problems. But something in his tone irritated me. "I might," I said. Sarah and I always talked about it. Downsizing, traveling, seeing the country. "Right, but..." Derek sat down at the dinette table, looking too comfortable. "Be realistic. You're going to take this 6-month trip, get it out of your system, come back, and then this thing is just going to sit here. That's almost 200 grand sitting in your driveway, depreciating. So that's not very smart financially." Derek leaned back, casual. "These things lose value fast, and you're not using it full time. It's wasteful." Emily put her hand on Derek's arm. "Honey, Dad just bought it. Let him enjoy it. I'm just saying there are smarter ways to approach this." Derek looked at me directly. "Have you thought about renting it out?" "Renting it?" "Yeah. There's a huge market for RV rentals. People want to try van life or whatever without buying. You could make serious money." "I'm not renting out my RV." "Why not? You're only using it 6 months a year, max. The rest of the time it's just sitting here. You could easily get $300 a day. That's $9,000 a month. Over $100,000 a year." "Derek," I said firmly, "I'm not renting it out. This is personal. This is for me and Sarah's dream." "Sarah's gone, Dad." He said it flat, matter of fact. and keeping an RV as some kind of memorial is expensive and impractical. Emily gasped. Derek, what? I'm being honest. He's sitting on a massive asset that could generate income, real income, money that could help Emily and me, help little Sophie. I felt my jaw tighten. This conversation is over. I bought the RV for myself. I'm taking my trip. That's the end of it. Derek stood up, raising his hands. Okay. Just think about it. That's all I'm asking. Think about the bigger picture. They left shortly after. Emily hugged me at the door, whispered I'm sorry in my ear. Derek shook my hand like nothing had happened. I watched them drive away and tried to push down the anger rising in my chest. The next morning, Derek called me. Hey, Dad, listen. I want to apologize about yesterday. I came on too strong. You did. I know, I'm sorry. It's just, Emily and I are going through a tough time financially. My business has some cash flow issues, and I'm trying to think creatively about solutions. But you're right. Your RV, your decision, I appreciate that. Totally. Hey, unrelated question. Have you thought about insurance for the RV? These things get broken into all the time when they're just parked. I have full coverage. Smart. And security cameras? Not yet. You should get some. Seriously. I can help you install them if you want. I know a guy who does security systems cheap. I should have heard the warning in that offer. I should have recognized the setup. But I was naive. I thought Derek was trying to make amends. That's okay, I said. I'll handle it. Sure. Well, have a great trip. Send us pictures. 3 days passed. I was at the grocery store stocking up on road trip supplies when my phone buzzed. A text from my neighbor, Pat, who lived 2 doors down. There are people looking at your RV. Said you gave them permission? I called Pat immediately. What people? A couple. Younger. They've got a measuring tape out. They said you told them they could check it out before renting it? My stomach dropped. I didn't tell anyone they could rent it. Can you see them now? They just left. Got in a Subaru, drove off. I drove home fast. Probably too fast. The RV looked fine from the outside. I unlocked it and climbed in. Everything seemed normal at first. Then I noticed small things. The cabinet by the sink was open. I always closed it. The driver's seat was adjusted back. I'm 6'1". The seat had been fine for me this morning. Someone had been inside. I checked the lock. No signs of forced entry. I'd given Emily a spare key months ago, when I first started shopping for RVs, so she could check out different models with me when I couldn't make it to the dealership. Derek must have made a copy. My phone rang. Derek. Hey, Dad, I wanted to run something by you. I've been doing research, and I think I've got a great business opportunity for both of us. Did you give someone my RV key? Pause. What? Someone was in my RV today, looking around. They told my neighbor I gave them permission to check it out before renting it. Did you do that? Oh, another pause. Okay, yes, let me explain. There's nothing to explain. You don't have permission to show people my RV. Just hear me out. I created a listing on RV Share. It's a peer-to-peer RV rental platform. I've already got 3 bookings for the fall, after you get back. That's $15,000 right there. We split it 60-40. You get 60. Cancel them. Dad, come on. Cancel. Them. Now. You're not being rational. This is free money. You're not even using the RV during those dates. It's literally sitting in your driveway doing nothing. Derek, I'm going to say this once. Take down the listing. Cancel all bookings. And give me back my key. Emily's not going to like this. You're being selfish. Selfish? Yes. We're family. Family helps each other. Emily and I are struggling. Sophie needs new clothes. We're behind on rent. And you've got almost $200,000 parked in your driveway that you're barely using. How is it selfish of me to ask for a little help? You're not asking. You went behind my back. Because I knew you'd say no. You've been different since Sarah died. Closed off. Stubborn. This isn't what she would have wanted. The mention of Sarah made something snap in me. Don't you dare tell me what Sarah would have wanted. Take down the listing, Derek. He hung up. I sat in the RV for a long time, hands shaking. Then I called a locksmith. He came out that afternoon and changed all the locks. $300 for new keys and a deadbolt on the side entrance. Worth every penny. I also called Emily. Dad, Derek told me you guys had a fight. He went behind my back. He's been showing people my RV without permission. He's just trying to help. We really need the money, Dad. Derek's business is going through a rough patch. That's not my problem. Silence on the line. When Emily spoke again, her voice was cold. Wow. Okay. That's really how you feel? Your granddaughter needs help and that's not your problem? Emily, that's not what Derek is trying to provide for us. He's working so hard, and you've got this expensive toy just sitting there. Would it kill you to help us out? It's not a toy. This is important to me. More important than family? The question hung there. I thought about Sarah, about the promise I made, about the maps and dreams, and the empty house waiting for me when I got back. I love you, Emily. I love Sophie. But this RV is not up for discussion. Fine. Great. I hope you have a wonderful trip, Dad. All alone. She hung up. I didn't sleep well that night. I kept second-guessing myself. Was I being selfish? Should I help them? But every time I started to waver, I remembered Derek's presumptuous tone. The way he'd gone behind my back. The way he tried to manipulate me by bringing up Sarah. 2 days before I was supposed to leave, I woke up at 6 a.m. to voices outside. I looked out my bedroom window and felt my blood run cold. Derek was standing in my driveway next to the RV. With him was a family of 4, parents and 2 kids, maybe 8 and 10 years old. They had suitcases. Derek was unlocking the RV door. I threw on clothes and ran outside. What the hell is this? Derek turned, his smile too bright. Morning, Dad. This is the Henderson family. They've got a booking for this week. Yellowstone trip. No, they don't. I told you to cancel all the bookings. Mr. Henderson looked confused. Wait, what's going on? We paid a $2,000 deposit. I'm sorry, I said to the Hendersons, but there's been a mistake. My son-in-law listed this RV without my permission. There is no rental. Derek? Mrs. Henderson looked alarmed. You said this was all confirmed. It is confirmed, Derek said smoothly. My father-in-law is just having some confusion. He sometimes forgets conversations we've had. He's getting older, you know. I'm not confused, I said, my voice rising. I never agreed to this. This is my RV. Get away from it. Dad, calm down. You're making a scene. I'll call the police. For what? They're paying customers. I have a signed rental agreement. Here. He pulled out his phone, showed me some document with my signature at the bottom. See? You agreed to this. That's forged. I never signed that. The Henderson kids were starting to cry. Mr. Henderson put his arm around his wife. We drove 6 hours to get here. We have campground reservations. Derek, what's happening? Derek sighed. Like this was all so tedious. I apologize. My father-in-law has been struggling since my mother-in-law passed away. Sometimes he gets disoriented. Let me talk to him privately for a minute. He grabbed my arm, pulled me aside. His grip was too tight. Listen to me, he hissed. Quiet enough the Hendersons couldn't hear. You're going to let them take the RV for the week. They already paid $4,000 total. You get $2,400 of it. I keep the rest for managing the booking. Let go of me. If you don't do this, I'll tell Emily you physically threatened me. I'll tell her you're having mental health issues. She'll believe me. And then we'll have you declared incompetent and take over your finances anyway. You're threatening me? I'm helping you see reality. You're alone, Dad. You're old. Your wife is dead. Your daughter is on my side. Who's going to believe you over me? I yanked my arm free. My hands were shaking, but not from fear, from rage. Get off my property, I said. Right now. All of you. Derek's expression hardened. Wrong answer. He turned to the Hendersons. I'm so sorry about this. He's been difficult lately. Let me call our family lawyer. Get this sorted out. I'm calling the police, I said, pulling out my phone. Go ahead. Derek crossed his arms. I've got a signed contract. You're the one who's going to look crazy. I dialed 911. The police took 40 minutes to arrive. In that time, Derek stayed calm and reasonable, explaining to the increasingly distressed Henderson family that there was just some family miscommunication. He showed them his fake contract. He even offered to put them up in a hotel for the night while we sorted things out. When Officer Martinez arrived, Derek's whole demeanor was sympathetic and concerned. "Officer, thank you for coming. I run a small RV rental business with my father-in-law here. He signed this contract 2 weeks ago, but now he's claiming he doesn't remember. I'm worried about him. His wife passed away recently and he's been struggling." Officer Martinez looked at me. "Sir, did you sign a rental agreement?" "No." He forged my signature. "Dad," Derek said sadly, "we talked about this on the phone. Remember? You said it was fine." I said no such thing. Officer Martinez took the contract, examined it. "This signature looks pretty official. Do you have documentation that this is your RV?" I did. The title was in my name. Registration, insurance papers. I showed him everything. "And the contract?" Martinez asked Derek. "I've got the digital copy, emails, payment records, everything." Martinez looked tired. "This is a civil matter, not criminal. You two need to work it out between yourselves or through a lawyer. I can't make anyone leave if there's a contract in place." "The contract is fake," I said. "Then prove it in court." Martinez handed back the papers. "I'm sorry, but there's nothing I can do here. If he's got a signed contract, even if you dispute it, that's between you and him legally." Derek smiled. Not big. Just a small, satisfied smile. The Hendersons ended up leaving. They were too uncomfortable to stay. Derek promised to refund them, but I doubt he did. After everyone was gone, Derek stood in my driveway, hands in his pockets. "So here's what's going to happen," he said. "You're going to take your little trip, and while you're gone, I'm going to run rentals out of the RV. I've already got 8 bookings for the next 6 months. That's $40,000. I'll give you 15% finder's fee. I'll sue you." "For what? Helping you make money off an asset you weren't using? Good luck with that. Besides, Emily will testify I had verbal permission. You know she will. Why are you doing this?" For the first time, Derek's mask slipped. "Because I need the money. Because your daughter married me thinking I was successful, and I'm not. Because I owe $70,000 to some people who aren't patient. Because this RV is the answer to my problems, and you're too selfish to see it." He walked away before I could respond. I sat in my house for an hour, mind spinning. Then I called my old friend Richard. We'd taught together for 20 years before he retired and moved to Arizona. He picked up on the second ring. "Robert, how's retirement treating you?" "Not well. I need help." I told him everything. The RV, Derek's schemes, the threats, the forged contract. Richard listened without interrupting. "You need a lawyer," he said when I finished. "Like yesterday. I don't even know where to start." "I do. My daughter's a lawyer in Columbus. Family and property law. Let me call her." Within 2 hours, I was on the phone with Amanda Richardson. Esquire, I explained the situation again. She asked detailed questions. Could I prove Derek forged the signature? Had he actually rented the RV to anyone? Did I have evidence of his threats? "The signature isn't yours?" she asked. "No. I never signed anything." "Can you prove that?" I don't know. How would I prove I didn't sign something?" "Handwriting analysis. We'd need to compare it to documents you definitely did sign. Do you have those?" I did. "Bank papers, the RV purchase agreement, my will." "Good. Bring those to my office tomorrow. We'll also get a restraining order preventing Derek from accessing or advertising the RV. And if he's already accepted money for fraudulent rentals, that's theft." "What if he says I gave verbal permission?" "Then it's he said, she said. But the signature forgery is concrete. We've got him there." I felt something loosen in my chest. Hope, maybe. "One more thing," Amanda said. "Install security cameras on the RV tonight. Multiple angles. If he comes back, we want footage." I went to Home Depot and bought a wireless camera system. 3 cameras. One on the front, one on the door, one facing the street. I spent 4 hours installing them, syncing them to my phone. By midnight, I had 24/7 surveillance of my driveway. I checked the app every hour that night. At 3 a.m., I finally fell asleep. At 7 a.m., my phone buzzed with a motion alert. Derek was back. I watched through the camera app as he walked up to the RV, tried his old key. It didn't work. He tried again, frustrated. Then he pulled out something. A lockpick kit? and started working on the deadbolt. I called 911 again. There's someone breaking into my RV right now. I have video footage. This time the response was faster. Officer Martinez came back, this time with a partner, Officer Lee. I showed them the live camera feed. Derek working the lock, clearly attempting to break in. Martinez walked over to Derek. "Sir, what are you doing?" Derek straightened up, pocketing the lockpicks. "Oh, hey, just doing some maintenance on my father-in-law's RV. The lock was sticking." "That's not true," I said, showing Martinez the footage. "Look, he tried his key first. When it didn't work, he tried to pick the lock. That's because he changed the locks without telling me," Derek said smoothly. "This is a joint business property. I have every right to access it." "It's not a business property," I said. "It's my personal vehicle. Here's the title. My name only." Martinez looked at the title, then at Derek. "Do you have any proof of ownership or business partnership?" "Verbal agreement." "Then you need to leave. Now, if the title's in his name, you don't have legal right to force entry." Derek's jaw clenched. "This is ridiculous. We're family. Family or not, it's his property. Leave, or I'll arrest you for attempted breaking and entering." Derek left, but as he walked to his car, he turned and looked directly at me. The expression on his face was pure hatred. I met with Amanda that afternoon. She took copies of my signature from various documents, filed paperwork for a handwriting expert, and drew up a restraining order. She also sent a cease and desist letter to Derek, demanding he take down any listings and refund anyone he'd taken money from. "This will take a few weeks to process through the courts," she said. "In the meantime, don't engage with him. No calls, no texts, no visits. If Emily contacts you, be polite but firm. Don't let them bait you into anything that could be used against you." "What about my trip? I was supposed to leave 3 days ago. I'd wait until we get the restraining order approved. If you leave now and he breaks in while you're gone, it's harder to prove." So I waited. And during that waiting, something interesting happened. Derek's rental listing was still up on RV Share. I could see it, complete with photos of my RV's interior that he must have taken during his unauthorized visit. The listing claimed the RV was available for $50 per night, way below market value. Desperate pricing. But Derek had made a mistake. The listing included his phone number and email, public information. I called RV Share's customer support. "Hi, I'd like to report a fraudulent listing. Someone is advertising my RV without my permission." The support rep was helpful. I provided proof of ownership, explained the situation, and within 3 hours the listing was removed and Derek's account was suspended. Then I found something else. Derek had also listed the RV on Outdoorsy, another rental platform, and Cruise America, and some smaller sites. He'd created accounts everywhere, casting a wide net. I reported every single one, provided documentation, had them all shut down. My phone rang that night. "Emily, Dad, what are you doing? You got Derek banned from every rental site. He was committing fraud, listing my property without permission. He was trying to help us. We have nothing, Dad. Derek's business is failing. We're about to lose our apartment, and you're sabotaging the one thing that could save us. Emily, I'm sorry you're struggling." But Derek's solution was to steal from me. "Steal? Oh my God, you're so dramatic. It's just an RV. You weren't even using it. I bought it to honor your mother's memory, to take the trip we planned together. That matters to me. Mom's dead." Her voice cracked. "She's gone, and you're holding on to this thing like it's going to bring her back. It won't. And meanwhile, your actual living family is drowning." I offered to help with Sophie's clothes. I offered to cover 1 month of rent. You said no, that you didn't want handouts. Because Derek has pride. He wants to earn it, not beg from his father-in-law. By stealing? By being entrepreneurial. You wouldn't understand. You had your stable teaching job, your pension, your house paid off. You don't know what it's like to struggle. I taught high school for 38 years, Emily. I graded papers until midnight, dealt with angry parents, worked summer school to save extra money. I know what hard work is. And I never once stole from anyone to get ahead. She hung up. The restraining order came through 2 weeks later. Derek was legally barred from coming within 500 feet of me or my property. The handwriting analysis confirmed what I knew. The signature on Derek's fake contract wasn't mine. It wasn't even close. Amanda sent this to the police, and suddenly Derek's situation got a lot worse. He was charged with fraud and attempted theft. The DA was taking it seriously because Derek had actually collected deposits from 3 families, the Hendersons and 2 others, nearly $8,000 total. That pushed it from civil dispute to criminal activity. I didn't feel good about it, but I didn't feel bad either. Emily stopped calling. I tried reaching out once, asking if I could see Sophie. She texted back, "Derek doesn't want you around us right now. Give us space." So I gave them space. A month after I was originally supposed to leave, I finally hitched up the RV and pulled out of my driveway. Pat came out to wave goodbye. So did Joan from across the street and the Mitchells from next door. People I'd lived near for decades. "You take care of yourself, Robert," Pat said, "and send us pictures." I drove north, toward Michigan. The RV handled beautifully on the highway. Smooth, quiet, powerful. I pulled into a rest stop near Toledo and made coffee in the kitchen, standing there with my mug, looking out the big window at the trees. Sarah would have loved this. I reached Mackinac Island 4 days later, parked at a campground with a view of the water. I rode a bike around the island, no cars allowed, and ate fudge and watched the sunset. I called my old friend Richard and told him about the Victorian houses and the Grand Hotel. "You sound good," Richard said, relaxed. "I am. I should have done this sooner." Derek still being a problem? Not directly. The restraining order is holding. His court date is next month. Amanda says he'll probably take a plea deal. And Emily? I was quiet for a moment. I don't know. I hope someday she'll understand. But if she doesn't, I can't control that. You did the right thing, Robert. You set a boundary. That's healthy. After we hung up, I sat outside the RV with a glass of wine and watched the stars. And for the first time in a year, since Sarah died, I felt something like peace. Derek's court date was October 15th. I was in South Dakota when it happened. Amanda called me with the results. He took the plea deal, pleaded guilty to 1 count of fraud, 2 years probation, restitution to the families he scammed, and a fine. No jail time, but it'll be on his record. And Emily? I don't know about that, but legally you're clear. He can't come near you or your property. I thanked her and paid her bill. It had been expensive, $6,000 in legal fees, but worth it. 3 weeks later I was camped in Utah, near Arches National Park, when my phone rang. Emily. "Dad? Hi, sweetheart. Can we talk?" We talked for 2 hours. She apologized. She cried. She explained that Derek had been lying to her for months, about his business, about his debts, about a lot of things. She'd found out he owed money not just to credit cards, but to some loan sharks, dangerous people. The RV rental scheme had been his desperate attempt to pay them off before things got worse. "I'm leaving him," she said. "I filed for divorce last week. Sophie and I are moving in with Derek's parents temporarily, just until I can find a job and an apartment." "You can move into my house," I offered. "It's just sitting there." "Really?" "Of course. It's your home, too." She cried again. "I'm so sorry, Dad. About everything I said. About taking his side. You're my daughter. I love you. That doesn't change." "Where are you now?" "Utah. Moab. The Red Rocks are incredible. Sarah would have loved it." "Send me pictures?" "Every day." When I got back to Columbus in March, 6 months after I'd left, Emily and Sophie were living in my house. Emily had a new job as an office manager. Sophie had started first grade. The house felt alive again. Derek, I heard, had moved to Florida. Some fresh start scheme. I didn't care. He was a problem I'd solved and left behind. My RV sat in the driveway, dusty from thousands of miles. I washed it on a Saturday morning while Sophie helped with a tiny sponge. Emily brought us lemonade. "You going out again?" she asked. "Maybe. Someday. But not yet. I want to be here for a while. Be a grandfather." Sophie tugged my sleeve. "Grandpa, can we go camping? Just like you and Grandma wanted?" I looked at Emily. She nodded. "Yeah," I said. "Yeah, we can do that." The next weekend, the 3 of us drove to Hocking Hills, an hour southeast. We parked the RV at a campground, hiked to waterfalls, roasted marshmallows. Sophie slept in the Murphy bed. Emily and I stayed up late talking, the way we used to when she was young. "Thank you for not giving up on me," she said. "You're my daughter. I never would. And thank you for teaching me something." "What's that?" "That it's okay to say no. That protecting yourself isn't selfish. That boundaries matter." I hugged her tight. Later, alone in the RV's bedroom, I looked at the photo of Sarah I kept on the dashboard. We were at the Grand Canyon in that picture, 30 years ago, both of us so young. "We did it," I whispered to her. "We took the trip, and we came home." I slept better that night than I had in years. If you like this story, click the like button and subscribe. And if you've ever had to set boundaries with family members who didn't respect them, drop a comment below. I'd love to hear your story. To listen to the next story, click the box on the left. Thanks for watching, and remember, your property, your rules. Don't let anyone tell you otherwise.